Well guys, Cody here again. We're going to do a little bit of a different deal here. We're going to show you all my gear we got. Let's start with the bag I carry. I carry this a lot, mostly for bass fishing, lake fishing. I carry some of it for catfishing, but down for walleyes and stuff, so you never know what you're going to get. We've got a lot of crankbaits. I run a lot of crankbaits, especially for bass and walleyes. I have probably got more dollars in crankbaits than most guys got in their entire set of gear. 90% of this is Rapala. If anybody knows anything about Rapala, they're expensive. I run expensive gear for a reason, because it works. Also run an entire waterproof tackle box here. This is my main catfishing tackle box. Waterproof. Very important. Got some hooks sorted out here. Just kind of a bunch of stuff thrown in here I use. I got some leaders and stuff. A lot of hooks. Big and small. These are my throw line ditty pull hooks. Large. Extra spool for my reel. Thing's always handy. 1.5 ounce, 2 ounce flat, no roll sinkers. I've got a lot more of these in another tackle box. 3 ounce egg sinker. I mean, I run a lot of big stuff, little stuff. Hook sharpener. Extra hooks. Scale. Flashlight. Really important little thing to have in your tackle box, a flashlight. Now what else I carry in here is in the front, man's best friend right there. Some toilet paper. Most important thing you can ever carry in a tackle box, I swear. Toilet paper. Fillet knife. Never can have a good enough fillet knife. That thing's really handy to have. You can clear stuff out of your way, cut your bait up, even clean your fish if you get hungry. If anybody's watched the first video, I run braid line. I always carry a couple pairs of pliers, scissors in there. Very important when you're running braid. You cannot cut that stuff with your teeth very well, and it'll tear your teeth up. Jaw spreaders. You guys, if anybody knows me very well, and you guys will get to know me better over the summer, I do a lot of catfishing. You will never believe how important a set of jaw spreaders is, even for catfishing. They seem to lock down on your hand a lot, or just lock down on your hook. These things come in really handy. Granted, I do some musky fishing stuff. Those come important. There's a cheap pair of hook removers, and I got a decent pair here. Nice Rapala. Lakers is actually what those are, but this side I run some extra rubber worms, you know. And then this side I always carry bobbers. You can never ever have enough bobbers. I use them for all kinds of stuff. Walleyes, bass, catfish, especially walleyes. There's a lighted bobber. That's really nice to have. But I also run them for crappies. I mean, something as simple as a bobber with a minnow will get you a lot of crappies. Now, like I said, I do some musky fishing here. These are extremely large Rapala crankbaits. Good luck finding many that are this size. And you guys really want to get an impression of this thing. That thing's a big Rapala. Musky crushers right there. Occasionally I'll run some flies. There's a hand-tied fly by a young kid here I got a couple years ago. I also run a lot of big stuff for muskies. I mean, I got big meps, some homemade stuff, spinner baits. Got a spoon. I actually caught this on my last fishing trip. Somebody apparently ran a little bit too light a line, got snagged up. I actually reeled it in on a 20-pound test. Frog. I got some more spoons in here, some maps, some more random musky stuff I kind of homemade. Some more spoons, bass jig. I run a lot of this stuff for northern pike and muskies. Very, very handy to have. I don't run into them a lot, but when I do, like Brushy where we were at the other day, 2 years ago I got 19 northern pike in about 3 hours. Very nice to have when they're biting. This is just one kit I got here. This is actually a mix between the first and second generation of banjo minnows. I love these little lures. They really work good for me, especially for bass. There's a jig. But I mean, I got both generations. There's the first generation. There's the second generation. Different rubber. They're not the same rubber. But man, do I love those lures. They work really good for bass. And occasionally, by accident, you'll pick up a nice walleye on them. Always carry an extra reel, just in case. I always carry a box of matches. Very handy to have down at the river fishing, because you never know when your lantern is going to go out. I carry a lot. Like I said, I mean, this is my average day on the lake. I mean, I carry a lot. A couple nets when I'm out with minnows. Or, a lot of time I'll just throw one in my bag. Really nice thing to have if you're down at the lake and you all of a sudden realize them bass or them walleyes, whatever, they're eating crawdads. Well, you've got a lot of rocks around, you can catch a crawdad with one of these. Extra bag of split shots. I don't know why it is, especially out catfishing. I always lose split shots. They fall off the line, you get snagged up, you never have enough split shots. I always run out of them. So I always got an extra bag. This one actually, while I'm at it, sits in the bottom of this bag. Now I actually got this from an ex here a couple years ago. Really nice thing to have. It holds like 5 or 6 rods. I actually have a nice zippered pocket here I can put all my stuff in. It's got an extra side, which I slide a rod holder in. I'll show you that here in a little bit. But nice thing to have. It holds all my rods for me. But that's I stick this in there. I mean, that's just something spare. I actually got a bad knee. I got a trick knee. I had it for years. I blew it out when I was 16. I always carry a knee brace, just in case. I have been down at the bottom of Brushy before and dislocated it. That is a pain to climb up that hill on your hands and knees. Don't do it. You got a bad knee? Just grab one. They're like 40 bucks. I'd rather have this for safety than not have it at all. Some extra little minnows. Another thing I just randomly carry. Throw them in a bag somewhere, throw them in my pocket. Nice thing to have, especially when I'm out trying to pick up them bass off their spawning beds. Little minnows. This is one I just put together the other day. It carries a lot of my sinkers. I run almost strictly 1 ounce or better egg sinkers when I'm running egg sinkers. Nothing else. I run a 1 ounce. I've seen a lot of guys, especially my dad, he runs a 1/2 ounce. Not me, I run 1 ounce. Now this one is strictly walleyes. This is my walleye jig box. I've got a lot of variety here. I got twin tails, white. I mean, I've got about every color you can think of. I've got pink and white with feathers. And then on the other side, which I actually have a backup for this too, I carry my jig heads in. Lures, worms, hooks. I mean, I carry everything. I'm ready to go at all times. Nets. Another thing you can never be without. A net. Good net. That's what I carry out when I'm up doing a little bitty bass fishing when I'm walking around. I always have a net. One of the most valuable things you can ever have, especially out while you're out trying to catch a nice big cat, nice big walleye, a net. You're going to save so many fish with a net. I've lost more fish than I can count before I owned one. Get one. You're going to need it. You'll see us use this a lot this year. Now my gear I run, on the first video I showed this a little bit. This is a 10-foot fishing rod. It's a Shakespeare Alpha. I've got 65-pound braid on here. I mean, this is a massive rod. I can't even stand it up in the building. It's big. But when you get into a nice big flathead, this thing's handy. Last year I got a 23-pound channel cat and a rod and reel. Now I'll show you the rod I caught it on. I wish I had this last year. I bought that late in the year. This is my go-to rod right here. Shakespeare Ugly Stick. This is a light pro version. Graphite rod, Mitchell reel. I love this reel. I bought this reel years ago. It's the only reel I have never torn up. I like the Shimano's. They work great. I tear them things up. They last a year. I caught a 23-pound channel cat on this rod. Now, I mean, I run 7-foot rods minimum most of the time. There's exceptions when I'm out catching chubs and stuff, but this is my main rod. I caught 15, 20-pound channel cats on it. I caught a 20-pound freaking carp on this the other day, guys. This thing is not meant for that. It can do it, though. You don't have to have top gear. You don't have to be the best fisherman out there to catch these fish with this light gear. Know your gear. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is know how a reel works when it's getting stressed. I run 20-pound Power Pro on this. That's all I run, Power Pro. Here's my little crappie rod slash crick rod. It's just a little Berkeley cherry wood. I actually broke this one years ago. As you can see, I replaced the eye. Nice job I did on it, in fact. But we actually lost a carp on this the other day. We had one on it. Now here's my other cat rod. I am running Abu Garcia on here. This one's held up. My last one didn't. It's the exact same reel. This is a 6600 BCX. 65-pound braid. Power Pro. This is an old Tiger combo rod. I actually took the reel off it years ago. But the rod's held up. I haven't broke it yet. We've got 10-pound cats on these. And then my rod holders. I've got two here. This one I carry in the side pocket of that, and this one I carry in the top. This one's really handy when you're running a bigger rod. This one's a homemade one. Somebody had welded here into an L. Makes real nice, handy work. This one, like I was going to show you before, I store it in this little side pocket here. Really makes it handy. Anybody that's been catfishing much though, I've made some improvements on this. I've got this to hook my stringers to. Right here. Now most people wouldn't have thought about this. I did, and it's made a big difference. I've hooked this on here like this, so when I hook my rod on here, I can drop into the handle in here, because when you hook it up, it pulls. But I mean, that's what I run, guys. I carry this every time. So, anybody has any questions about that, all you have to do is ask. I'll gladly tell you. But we'll talk to you later. Okay, guys, I actually forgot something here I had hanging up. I do a lot of carp fishing off in the off season, you know, the middle of summer. Cats ain't biting real good. Shit like that. I like to catch carp. A gaff hook comes in really, really handy. Especially when you're on them cut banks where you got 2-3 foot when you're above the water. This thing comes in really handy. I was actually given this years ago by a buddy of mine, which I'm hoping to get him on video later this year. But he had this laying around. He gave it to me. And man, this thing has come in handy so many times. I wish I had one years ago. I've been using this for a couple years now, and I haven't been able to break it yet. And I've got 10-pound carp with it, hooking onto them to pull them out. So, talk to you later.